He's an idea DJ.
Love to hear Charles riff. Also like when how he hosts calls. I guess that's coming from some of his musical background and actually literally radio shows.
Charles seems to ask excellent questions, questions that sometimes seem to help me realize that I possess knowledge or ideas that might be valuable to someone else where I might not even have thought of it.
You know, whenever he's asking or leading a discussion or something, and I want to say something, I feel really listened to, and I think that's a great quality that he has.
The different leads and different sort of threads that you sort of bring to the surface.
These roles that go back into antiquity, like muse or sprite or other sorts of things, they're like, and also a little bit coyote, trickster. You know, there's a couple kind of archetypes that go back, and it seems like you are kind of switching a little bit between these roles, like shape-shifting between them, but always like extremely active and jumping in and out of the middle of activity, and then curating and ushering the activity forward. And so I feel like you're this perpetually wonderfully intended kind of muse presence or sprite presence in all of our lives, and I really appreciate that.
I think Charles is kind of like oil, like he sets things up to sizzle.
Mashup tastemaker with rabbit holes, but I don't know.
His ability to kind of DJ a Zoom discussion and keep on track of things, say just the right thing, to ask the question so someone can kind of shine.
Playfulness and curiosity and sort of the number of things you sort of weave and touch on.
Charles, making me feel really welcome as a newbie here.
You feel appreciated when you're in a meeting with him and he's leading, because he somehow knits whole cloth out of the threads that are going on.
I guess whether you label it work or play, some of the things that we do together, but that you sort of very much take it serious and push things forward and are accountable for things and show up.
His ability to keep track of information and not forget things. Charles is just a really prepared, organized person. He is a really powerful networker because he can read people really well. He understands them and he listens to them, and he's also really likable. And so it's not just he knows a lot of people, like he has a rapport with quite a number of people, and they really enjoy being around him. And not only that, but he actually knows people from very different networks, and so he's kind of a hub, connecting really, really different kinds of people.
Acceptance and engagement and sort of welcoming of all of the people of very different viewpoints.
So wherever he shows up, he's willing to be there, 100%.
Great integrator. He's a connector of people, and
he was proactive. And that's actually something that is very powerful when you're building networks.
I think he's just like a really kind person, and he's very attentive to what's going on, and he tracks really well. He pays attention all the time, and that comes out in his empathy. So he not only feels empathy, but it also really has a good idea of what's going on in a room and can read a room really well.
A very kind person.
Family stuff going on during the early days of the pandemic, and he actually reached out individually, privately, to ask about it. And that just told me worlds about who he is.
Very positive and very supportive and empathetic individual.
A person I trust.
Him being very grounded, very authentic, and somebody that has a wide range of interests and very comprehensive knowledge.
Great depths.
We had deep conversations.
Has a ton of knowledge about everything, and a great humanistic quality to his interactions.
Shows that you kind of summed up what I was kind of rambling about, like now, a few minutes in, like in a few words. So that's what I'm saying. And I took those things to some good places, which otherwise I might not have noticed that this is what I'm saying, in a very crystallized way.
Charles is a really skilled mind mapper, the actual sort of mind mapping skill, and not just the sort of vague idea of what, or not vague, but general mind mapping idea. And yeah, we had met around this idea of mapping ourselves, so I guess similar to what we're doing now, but getting to the core of our purpose, something called Ikigai, and sort of trying to find your sort of right place in the world.
He asks good questions, and he'll push back if something isn't clear or if I get something wrong, and he'll push things in an interesting direction.
Expresses curiosity and moves curiosity into people.
He's a super organized mapper, and all of this is organized in his head, and he takes things out of chat, he picks them up and puts them in his mind map. So he's actually really powerful. He's one of the most powerful people in terms of his cognitive capacity, his ability to remember and recall information and to find where it is, and so has it all kind of organized in his brain.
And every time I'm impressed with his memory or his use of whatever he's using in order to track whatever details are relevant.
He just has that kind of like the metacognition that we all want.
Because I know that he has a deep knowledge of music.
In the studio, it's like sharing ears is like one of the most helpful things. Some people you meet and, sharing ears with them is like sharing ears with a large audience. And so I would say that Blass Master is a very large audience, and it, just thinking of sharing ears with him is like gets me all hyped.
He's a very elegant person. I don't know how else to say it. He's just kind of like dignified in a nice way.
And he's not afraid to tackle the big issues.
And also he has a lot of heart, lots of heart.